my friends, welcome back to the channel. This is Tanya at Sidegigcrafts. Guys, this is a new different kind of video for me today. I wanted to show you my face. Today is a different kind of video. We are going to do a paper making video today. I am doing a collaboration with my friend Jovi, Creating with Jovi, and we got to talking one day and we thought, you know what, let's make some paper. We're going to do three different videos. One today is going to be how to make paper, hand make paper. The next one is making something with the paper, and then we decided to swap something, so we're going to go show each other or send each other something that we made with that paper. So I hope that you guys will stick it out and join me. Hopefully this is going to be an easy process. I'm actually outside today because I don't have any light inside yet with the construction going on in my house. So it's been a little bit difficult to film in there. But I think that the heat from the concrete is going to help things dry faster. It's going to go real well. So anyways, before I just blabber too much like I usually do, let's get to making paper. All right, my friends. First of all, you need a big bucket with water. That's not really the first thing you need. Okay, so let me show you, starting up, how we're going to do this, or how I did this. You need a bunch of paper. It can be old bills, it could be vintage papers, it could be old scrapbook paper, it could be all kinds of things, you guys. You can shred up tissue paper. I took a bunch of old bills, which actually, now that I'm looking at it, I can still see some in here. I just sat down one night and started playing with this and doing stuff. I tore up a bunch of pieces. You got to soak it for probably about 12 hours and leave it sitting till it's soft and mushy. This has been sitting for a lot longer than that, and this is not the consistency we want, but I'll show you that. What I did, one of the things, I found a hack. Some of you already know I work at a pet store, and the bedding that we use for our pets is made out of paper, and it's already shredded. It's already recycled paper, so it breaks down really, really nicely. Once you get it wet with the water, just water, it will be mushy as heck. And then you put it in your blender and you blend it up until it makes a pulp. Now, I have to admit, I played with this quite a bit already and have made quite a bit of paper because I wanted to show you guys some different options. This is still wet, or this is dried pulp, but I'm going to wet it again and we're going to use it today. So it really makes a nice pulpy thing once you get it run through your blender. Now, I'm going to put some water in here because obviously we can't use it like that. Let it sit for just a bit while we're talking. See how easily and quickly it mushes up. Now mine is pretty fibrous and lumpy. I kind of like it that way. I was burning out my mixer, if I'm honest, and was having a hard time with it. So I wanted to play with different textures and consistencies, and I really liked the way this turned out. It's very fibrous, it's very lumpy, which is kind of one of those things I really like. But you can make it pulpier if you want to. So we're going to put this, I'm going to just add all of this to my water. Okay. It's already soft enough to put in there. You can see it breaks apart really nicely, and we'll make a beautiful consistency. Okay. I'm going to show you some of those papers in a bit. Now, I also got these, I can't remember what they're called. Jovi had the name for it, but I can't think of what they're called now. These frames for making paper. And we're going to use a smaller one too, because I think it'll be easier to keep in frame for you. And these, a decal, that's what they're called. You open it up. This is the mesh to put the paper will be made on. We scoop it in this way, and then it drains out the water, and we press it on a board or on the towel. We get as much water as we can out of it, and we make our paper. Now, there's lots of things you can put in there, and I'm going to show you some of the things I use. Let me sit down here for a minute. Hopefully you can still see me, because I can't see what you can see now. But in some of the papers, you can see I've got some music papers. These I put in bigger chunks because I wanted them to show in the final project. So I've got some music papers chunked up in there. We can add some Tim Holtz tissue. If these aren't torn up into pulp in the blender, you're going to see different parts of the design. So you might see different words, you might see different letters, you might see different pictures or stuff like that, which I think is fun and fascinating. So we're just going to tear some of this up. You don't have to pulp everything. especially if you want it to be visible in your finished project. So tissue paper is something fun to put in there. You could put colored tissue paper. I did that for some of mine. And when I show you the samples of what happened and how the paper turned out, I'll kind of explain some different things that I put into there for you, so that you kind of know how they turned out. Even though there's no way for me to show you all the different variations that I did, I'll explain it when I show you the finished projects. This is a hydrangea from my garden in my yard. It's dried, and I just put some of these petals in there. I even let some of the stems fall in there because it's kind of a natural look to it, and a little bit of organicness. You can put as much or as little as you like. Now remember, if you want papers to be clean and not have some of these things in there, do those papers first and then add these things. I'm kind of going with what I already know looked nice to me. Should I put that leaf in there? We can kind of crumble that up a little bit. That would be nice. Add some color. I don't want this big thick branch, or that one. We can put some of these in. I liked that combination when it came out. And you could put, let's see, I don't have tissue. I don't want tissue. I have the tissue in there. There's a couple things I want to put in there also. Now, I've also used some of this raffia. Unfortunately, I forgot my scissors inside, so I don't think I can I can't tear it off. So we're not going to use that right now. But let's put in some vintage music paper, or some vintage paper. It's got some music on it, and we can just, I mean, this just tear it in chunks. Different pieces will show up, and I really like the way that this stuff turns out. It's partially because you can't really, I mean, I guess you can plan it if you place things on the paper, but it's kind of a get what you get kind of thing, and it's kind of fun that way. And just seeing how the different things come out, and your papers are all going to be different that way. So this is one way I did it. Boop, boop. Just add a bunch of those. All right, and then we can just stir this around. That pulp is all settled to the bottom, so we'll stir that up. I'm not going to have a lot of pulp to make paper today. I thought that jug, well, I can't find the blender anymore. The guys moved it. I don't know where it went. So we're going to take our decal with the mesh side down. We're going to scoop this down underneath the water and bring it back up. And guess what? I don't have enough pulp in here to make this work. So let's try it again. See if we can get some on there. There we go. I'm not going to be able to make very much paper today because I don't have that much pulp in here, but at least I can get the basics done and show you how. Now, if you have bald spots, you can kind of push things into them. And it's okay if it's a little lumpy on the top here, because once we push it down onto the towel, and I'll show you that process too, it's going to help with some of that texture. Oh, I've got my hair in there. Let's pull that out. You guys don't need a DNA sample, do you? Oh, something I forgot. We can add some lavender in there. What? And then it even smells nice. Let's put a little bit of that on here too. We'll just kind of flex some on. One of the reasons I wanted to try this, my daughter made some paper, and I loved having it in my journals. She's good at inspiring me for things, and I really loved how it turned out, and putting it in my journals. I just beautiful textures and all that fun stuff. Okay, so once this is layered like this, you don't have to worry or fuss too much about it. I like to take the stuff off the frame part, and we're gonna go take it over. Once it's stopped running, I kind of like to tip it and get some of the extra water out. See if I can get some out this way too. You don't want to slide it too much because then all your pulp will start running the opposite direction. So let me go ahead and take you over to the towels where I'll show you how to press it up. All right, before I put it on the mat, let me show you up close what it looks like. There it is, up close. Isn't that cool? It's got all the textures and all the things on it. Now, what we're gonna do is we're going to open the decal this way. Then we're going to take this and flip it over quickly. You can see I didn't do it quite enough, or it's probably just thin. But if that happens, you can just kind of place it back. And then you can use a sponge. I like to use a towel. It seems to work better for me. And then go back in. When you push these down together again, the fibers will connect again if you have any holes like that. So you can reattach them or get some more pulp out of the bucket and add it on. So unfortunately, I think I just don't have enough pulp in this batch left to make that much. So I do have some holes here. Let me see what I can do about that before it's dry. I was really hoping this would be enough, but I don't think so. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take some of that pulp, press it on there. I've got a few pieces here that could be doctored a little bit. We'll just push that down and fill it in. And I'm going to take that screen again, just put it right back where it came from. Actually, it needs to go this way. Frame is too deep that way. We'll just place it like that and push it down again. Okay, that's going to help force the water out, but it's also going to press all those fibers together to make it a solid paper. That was a pretty simple feat, wasn't it? All right, let me show you up close. Let's see if I can get you out of this holder. Okay, my friends, before I show you the papers, I wanted to show you, this is the bedding that I used in mine. So you can see when it's dry, it's just this paper. It's already shredded up. Half the work is already done for us. So once we soak it and then we blend it up with this and water in our blender, it makes that paste, and then we can work with it that way. So let me show you some of the papers I used and tell you about them. So this paper, this is how it turns out. This is really awesome. With this paper, I used some vintage music paper. I used some napkins. You can use napkins in there. I used some greenery. This is some dried moss, another pet supply. There's some lavender in there. What else can I see? Lots of different, there's some greenery in there. So another napkin, but you can see it's strong, it's sturdy, it's fantastic. And I haven't ironed these yet, but I think that if they were lightly misted and ironed out, they'd be even flatter and probably even more secure. So I'm going to do that before our next video, but I wanted to kind of show you some of the different variations. This one is with the Tim Holtz tissue paper. There's some of the hydrangea. There's some too. You can see the tissue throughout. You remember how I told you it would have different words and things that would come through, different designs. There's a 49 in there. This one has fabric in it. I tore strips of fabric, so that's in there. This is blue tissue paper. All these things you could use to make your paper beautiful. And let's see. This is the side that was on the mesh, and this is the side. So when I swooped it up, this is what was caught up on top. Isn't that cool? So many different things. This one's very similar. It's got you can see the piece of the business envelope in there, the design. There's some more of that fabric, which leaves neat strings. Tissue paper. There's the hydrangea branch. There's some of the Tim Holtz tissue. Some more of that. We've got some Christmas napkin in this one even. Some more Christmas napkin. I love the edges are kind of fun too. You can use this as rustic or as clean as you want. You could cut the edges and make it pristine. Really, really, really cool. I got a lot of these. So I did all different sizes. There's a lot of hydrangea in that one. This one, it's got a little toll-free. It's a fax number and something kind of neat. There's something pink in there. I don't know what that was. Love these big pieces. Look at that. Look at that lusciousness. Isn't that great? There's a big thread through there. I tried putting thread in. I didn't care for the thread that much. It looks okay here, but I took most of it out because it looked like hair in there and it was really kind of bothering me texturally. But I like how these kind of went in there, the ones that were still in there that I missed. So I do like how it ended up, but I didn't want it to look like hair in my paper. So pretty cool. There's different papers, all kinds of different papers in there, different colors. This is probably an ad or something because I used a lot of my old bills that I didn't need anymore. And there were not photos, but printed images on them and such. This was scrapbook paper. Isn't that cool? I love the creases, and I think it's going to look really neat once it's ironed as well. So there's some more randomness. Love that one. the hydrangea just ended up right in the middle, just right. So there's some more. Oops, that one's got my address on it. That's not going to work out. We're going to just pull that off. So if we don't like something on it, we can just yank that off. That was my address. And there we go. So be careful when you're doing it that you don't give personal information away. Here's one that's different. So this one has the same kind of papers and such, but it's got more of the envelopes and different words in there, some hydrangea, but you can see the color patterns change. So I probably ran out of the blue tissue. I purposely used up all the blue tissue and then moved on to the next color. So these are a little more natural. I love the little spots of blue in it without being overwhelming. This one's got a little red tissue in there as well. There's another thread. So it can look really cool, don't you think? We've got some smaller pieces. This one tore, but I can still use it for things. Lots of tissue on that one. I could have patched that while it was wet, but that's kind of neat. I was probably at the end of my batch that night. Got a lot of pieces to share. Beautiful plant in there. Let me skip through. Ooh, this one's kind of nice. Some of my nicer pieces here. These are all kind of the same when I was running out of stuff. I love this one. Isn't that fun? Now, what can you do with this paper? Well, you can use it to write on. You can create pages in your journals. You can make tags with them. You can make ornaments with them. Christmas is coming. Maybe some natural ornaments. Look at the colors there. There's that material, that fabric. And then there's the thread. You do whatever you want with them, really. I love the colors on these, and I love the music in there. See the music pieces? It's kind of nice. There's a fabric piece in there. This one has lots of Tim Holtz on it. I wish I had more that I could have shown you guys. I'm so sorry that I didn't have more pulp that I could show you more how to make some of these more, but you know, at least I did the one. I was able to do the one. I was all ready to, and I thought, oh, there's just not enough. Here's some with the raffia in it. You see how that went in? This one actually had a little bit of plastic in there, which is surprising, but it's kind of a cool texture. I didn't intend to do that, but it did. Oh, you know what? That isn't plastic. It's tissue. It's tape on the tissue. So I forgot to pull that off, and that's how it ended up. So a little shiny bit. Here's some more. I've got some raffia up here, some of the hydrangea. Love it that the petals did that. Got some of the green moss and the Tim Holtz tissue. Got the blue tissue. This one feels a little brittle, but that's just the edge here. Some more of those. Let's see if I can get to some more. These are more of the natural colors that I did. Love that. It's got a little bit of red tissue in there. So little remnants of the Christmas tissue. Let's get down to it. Let's get to the next level. Okay, this one has more tissue. See, this one came out really thin. So if you don't put enough on there, it's going to come out thin. It's going to have spots on it. So you want to make sure you've got enough. But that doesn't make this unusable. I can definitely still use that piece for something. It just won't be able to be like a journal page or something like that. I'll have to use it for something else. So we've got lots of fun things here. I did a lot of the natural ones. I like how okay, so this color in here, this is actually from the hydrangea flower. As it was drying, it took the flower or the color from the flower and turned it that orangey yellow color. Isn't that neat? I really like it. So that's something good to remember. The hydrangeas will do that. Because there was nothing else in here that would have done that. So it has to have been from that. A little bit of moss on that one. The Christmas music, the Christmas napkin. There we go, that's fun. I like that piece. I think I'm gonna use that for something. And then I've got the flower hanging off the edge here. Isn't that pretty? Some more of that Christmas. Some more of that. Love this one. Look at that. Then I've got more blue. I really had a good time making these. Jovi, thank you so much. This was so much fun. And I've already gotten Jovi's package of the paper that she made. She did a beautiful job, you guys. You need to go back, check out her channel. She posted as well. We're going to both be posting this. These are more just plain papers, just a few regular with nothing on them. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? That one. This was such a fun idea. She said, let's do a collaboration. I said, yes, ma'am, I'm in. Let's do it. Beautiful. Love that. So now I got to get my package to her so she can show that. There we go. Gorgeous papers. Which ones are your favorite, guys? Okay, let's see if I can find anything that's different so I don't have to show you. Oh, the next stack is all different. Okay, here we go. Here's some fun ones. These had a lot more stuff in them too. There's the tissue. You can see the music paper. I wanted some for Christmas. These are for more fall. Love it. Love it. And I wanted to be able to send her quite a bit of different ones too. So different than what she's doing. I know she put some glitter in hers and some color in hers. She did all kinds of beautiful things. And they turned out really special. Look at that one. I love that one. This one's really thin. These would be great journal covers too. You'd probably have to attach them to different paper, I would think, because some of them are kind of fragile. You'd probably have to glue it to the papers or to the book binding to make sure it lasts. But look at that. Isn't that fun for Christmas? You can do all the things. You guys, this is such an easy process. It's so much fun. I really, really enjoyed it. And this is about it for my paper. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please be sure to go check out Jovi's channel as well. This was a great time. And like I said, we've got, we're going to be doing one more video that shows what we're making, us making something with it. And then another video of what we exchanged and what we made for each other. So be sure to be on the lookout for those. We'll be posting those soon. Make sure you go check out Jovi's video. Thanks once again, guys. And thank you again, Jovi. This was a great time and I can't wait to see what's next. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.